hiatus after a crash injured somebody in 1999. Locals lobbied to return the race to the festival, but with some safety changes. Instead of racing downhill, the tub teams compete along a 300-foot flat stretch, and steering and braking systems are now required. Fillmore Days are in honor of U.S. President Millard Fillmore, who was from Moravia. He had the first bathtub installed in the White House.
There you go.
There's the tie-in.
Right, I was wondering what the connection was.
There's a reason. Bathtub race. Good, clean fun.
It looks like fun.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. News 365 starts right now.
Right now at 5, Quintez Cephas and his lawyers are asking the UW to reinstate him after he's found out not guilty of sexual assault. We'll tell you what Cephas is saying.
A juvenile confesses to threatening to blow up a Jehovah's Witness center. How the threat is sparking a larger conversation about how officers and deputies respond to these types of incidents.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3 Now. Following a not guilty verdict and a petition to be readmitted to UW-Madison, Quintez Cephas and Badger football players are calling for his return to the team.
They're gathering downtown as part of what they call their final plea to the university. And that's where we find our Madeline O'Neill. Maddie?
Hi there. We're here in the lobby of Cephas' attorney where a press conference just wrapped up. Cephas, his legal team, supporters, including former teammates, are calling on the UW to let Cephas back in. One teammate says, once a Badger, always a Badger. They call the situation time sensitive as the fall semester is set to begin in just a few weeks. A number of football players signed a letter written to the chancellor saying Cephas' reinstatement could, quote, alleviate a racial tension felt by students and often referred to Cephas as a part of their family and a brother. Cephas' attorney says the lack of decision from the university sends a clear message that they don't want him as a student this semester. Another of his attorneys says justice delayed is justice denied.
Stop slow walking this. Stop throwing up obstacles to do what's right. Please, Chancellor, please, Board of Regents, do the right thing.
I am not angry at all. The whole time I've had the support of my brothers and everybody who knew me. And I've had a chance to, show my real character outside of sports.
In a response from UW-Madison, officials say information from Cephas' attorney that they are denying Cephas' request is false, and they're still reviewing his petition for reinstatement while gathering all relevant court records. In a statement, they say, we are working to gather this information currently and will complete our review of the petition as quickly as possible once we have it. Now, Cephas' attorneys are worried about how long that process will take and say they've already sent over all the relevant information, including hundreds of pages of court documents. Now, UW said in their statement as a reminder that their student code of ethics is different from criminal law, and a student can break that code of ethics without breaking any criminal laws. We asked UW-Madison to go on camera, and they declined that request.
Madeline O'Neill, downtown. Maddie, thank you. An Appleton man is dead after drowning at a campground in Marquette County. Deputies say it happened around 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon at the Lake of the Woods campground in Crystal Lake Township. 36-year-old Eric Williams was trying to help his child who was struggling in the water. The child was able to make it to shore, but Williams wasn't. Deputies say bystanders tried to resuscitate him, but were unsuccessful. The drowning is under investigation.
3 Madison teens who are suspects in recent burglaries and car thefts in Dane County were arrested Sunday afternoon. Madison police say a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, both boys, and a 17-year-old, Isaiah Ali, were arrested. The Madison Police Department had developed probable cause to arrest the trio after they were identified on surveillance cameras stealing from Easttown Mall stores back on July 31st. At the time of the thefts, the teens were driving a stolen vehicle. Several area police departments have cases where one or more of the teens are suspects. Ali has an extensive adult court criminal record with 6 open cases with charges that include burglary, armed robbery, disorderly conduct, theft, and operating a motor vehicle without an owner's consent. A threat to a Dodge County congregation is sparking a larger conversation about how officers and deputies respond to those types of incidents.
A minor confessed to threatening to blow up the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses in the town of Beaver Dam over the weekend. Our Rose Schmidt is here to explain what deputies say you should do if you hear such threats. Rose.
A lieutenant from the Dodge County Sheriff's Office says history has shown that national incidents can spark threats closer to home. Those threats can be a waste of law enforcement's resources, but they want you to know they take them seriously, and you should not hesitate to call 911 if you hear or see anything out of the ordinary. On Sunday morning, elders at the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses received text messages threatening to blow up a meeting happening there.
They did have people that were in service at the time, so they were evacuated out.
Dodge County Lieutenant Brian Lowe says deputies didn't find any bombs during a search of the Kingdom Hall. Lowe says after talking to the suspect, deputies determined the threats were not hate crimes motivated by religion or ethnicity.
It was just somebody who was looking to disrupt or cancel the service for that day.
When investigating these types of incidents, he says first deputies must find out what was said, then identify the location of the threat to make sure people are safe.
I think everybody has their different motivations behind why these things come up. Sometimes it's for attention, sometimes it's to create some panic, some fear.
Following mass shootings in multiple states, authorities across the country are investigating threats. So how can you be prepared for this? Dane County Deputy Jocelyn Longley says it starts with knowing your surroundings.
People aren't as aware. They're so buried in their phone or buried in their computer. We want them, what are they seeing in their neighborhood? What are they hearing?
Over 3 years, she's trained more than 16,000 people in active shooter trainings.
My name is Jocelyn Longley.
Which can prepare people for many types of incidents in their workplaces, churches, or other public spaces.
Maybe a coworker or friend's behavior seems off or suspicious. We want them to report it. They may have that one piece of information that law enforcement needed.
She wants you to know that calling law enforcement is never a bother, and it can make the difference if there is an active shooter, or in the case of Dodge County, a threat to a place of worship.
Hopefully we don't see many more of these, but we do investigate them. We do take them seriously, even if we believe nobody's in imminent danger.
The suspect is a minor, so the Dodge County Sheriff's Office is not disclosing that person's identity. The office is referring bomb scare charges in the county where the suspect lives, which is a nearby county in Wisconsin.
Rose, thanks.
All right, let's get a look at your first alert weather. We do have some rain in the area. What's happening out there now? Well, here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti on the weather patio. Gary?
Well, at least the rain has stopped here in the backyard, but there still is the threat for some showers and thunderstorms. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. Plenty of clouds today, so that's held temperatures down. That'll be the case over the next couple of days. You can see some rain over southern Wisconsin, but nothing really in the way of stronger thunderstorms. Heavier showers are farther to the south near Rockford, Illinois. As we look at current temperatures, they're in the middle 70s here. It's actually warmer to the north where there has been some sunshine, and the rain chances are less. 83 right now in Black River Falls, while only 73 right now in Monroe. Dew point temperatures, though, are pretty high, upper 60s to lower 70s, so it is very humid out there. Expect some showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm overnight, and a chance of a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. Otherwise, look for a high temperature tomorrow of 78 degrees. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. 2 people were taken to a hospital following a crash this morning. This happened in Dodgeville. The Iowa County Sheriff's Office says it happened about 6:30 on County Road YZ at County Road Z. Deputies say there was an initial crash at that intersection. Then a third vehicle crashed into the crash scene. The cause of the incident remains unclear, but Iowa County emergency management officials say there was heavy fog in that area this morning.
One of 3 suspects in a homicide in Dane County is being sentenced. 22-year-old Drew Luber was sentenced to 6 years in prison and 4 years of extended supervision today in Dane County Court. Luber pleaded guilty to felony murder in May. He's accused of killing Dalton Ziegler. Luber, along with Jacob Johnson and Michaela Tracy, are all charged with Ziegler's death. A criminal complaint says Tracy thought Ziegler, who was her boyfriend, was cheating on her and asked Johnson and Luber to come to her home, and that's when they beat him to death. Johnson was sentenced to 7 years in prison last week. Tracy is scheduled to go on trial in January. The trial is underway for an Indiana truck driver accused of slamming into a packed school bus last year in Columbia County.
Now, this happened on the interstate in May of 2018. Dozens of students on that bus were injured, 5 of them seriously. Charlotte DeLeste joins us now with more details about the opening arguments today in court. Charlotte.
Well, Eric and Susan, that school bus was heading to the Dells for an end-of-the-year field trip for the students. 43-year-old Wayne Murphy faces 46 charges in this case in all, including 10 felony counts and 5 charges of injury by intoxicated use of a vehicle. The bus was parked on the shoulder at mile marker 123 due to some mechanical issues when Murphy's truck hit the back of the bus. Police say empty pill bottles were found in his truck after the crash. Another truck driver, John Blair, testified that he saw Murphy driving erratically between Janesville and the crash scene and called to report it.
Basically, I knew it was unsafe. I didn't know if he was falling asleep. I didn't know what was going on with the driver. I knew something was wrong because he wasn't staying straight in the road.
So would it be fair to say you were concerned at that point?
Yes.
Murphy told investigators after the crash he took medication for anxiety, but authorities said he may have taken double the prescribed dose. His attorney said in the opening statement that his client will testify about wind conditions and a top-loaded truck that made handling difficult. If convicted on all counts, he faces a sentence of more than 100 years in prison.
Our story will continue to cover that trial. Charlotte, thank you.
Governor Evers was joined by government officials in Wausau today to talk about fixing roads. With the new budget, the Department of Transportation says you should see more orange barrels as they get to work fixing potholes and rough roads. Governor Evers says these fixes came from increasing fees, but he says taxpayers should not have to face increasing fees every time roads need to be repaired.
We put a high bar out there for the legislature as it related to transportation, and they came through in a way that is going to help our cities and our municipalities and, frankly, all across the state of Wisconsin.
Last month, the state budget, as passed by the Republican-controlled legislature, included $90 million for local road projects. Governor Evers vetoed it down to $75 million.
And Madison native now holds the title of Miss Black USA. 25-year-old Takima Ballantyne won that competition in Washington, D.C. last night.
Back here at home, she's being celebrated for her strength and dedication, especially to the health industry. Our Amanda Quintana is here with the story. Amanda?
Yes, the people I spoke to today were not surprised. Takima won the Miss Black USA title, saying she's one of those people that doesn't let anything get in the way of her dreams. And many in our community supported her along the way. The Madison East High School alum and current nursing student at Madison College competed against 32 other contestants last night in categories including personal interview, talent, fitness, and evening gown. Pageants like this one are expensive, but she didn't let the cost stop her.
She drove there on her own. She didn't fly. She raised the money for gas. She was willing to sleep in her car to participate. She didn't have the money to purchase her dresses, and she asked the community to step up and to help. So we were glad at Boys and Girls Clubs to be one of many people that was willing to support her along this journey.
She won the scholarship and now has a national stage to share her passions, which she's been doing here in Madison for a long time as a member of the PATCH program, Providers and Teens Communicating for Health. At age 16, she began working to bridge the gap between providers and adolescent patients. At 6, we'll have more about her goals to empower and educate youth, especially other Black women, about their health care.
Very exciting. We're looking forward to meeting her in person as well. Amanda, thank you.
All right, the 2019 season for the Milwaukee Brewers, of course, still ongoing, but the team has now released its schedule for next season. The Brewers will open up the 2020 season March 26th against the Chicago Cubs at Miller Park. Milwaukee currently 2.5 games behind the Cubs in first place in the NL Central. The Brewers will play the Twins, a 2-game series, interleague action at Miller Park starting tomorrow. And the Milwaukee Bucks also released their 2019-2020 schedule today. The Bucks will have 5 preseason games: Chicago, Utah, Dallas, Washington, and Minnesota. And then on October 24th, the Bucks will face the Rockets in Houston. Home opener will be on October 26th against the Miami Heat. Milwaukee, by the way, will have 34 games this year on national television.
That's exciting.
That comes with the success.
Yes, it
and
does.
Giannis, number 34. All right, more to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, the statewide task force continuing its work to prevent suicide. How you can get involved.
And ahead tonight at 6, toxic blue-green algae is being blamed for the deaths of 4 dogs in North Carolina and Georgia. We're asking experts if pet owners in our area should be concerned.
All right, another rough start to the week for Wall Street. The Dow off another 390 points. The NASDAQ lost 96. S&P dropped 35.5. We'll be right back. A statewide task force continues its work to prevent suicide, and today that group focused on risks veterans and law enforcement are facing.
There is training out there to help all of us help someone else in a crisis. Our Danica Lewis has more from today's discussion and how you can get involved. Danica?
Susan and Eric, the Suicide Prevention Task Force is traveling around Wisconsin to talk about the groups that are most vulnerable. So we're talking about farmers, teens, servicemen and women, first responders, people like that. Solutions are at the core of these conversations, along with trainings that make us all resources for someone who is struggling.
You know, we see things that the normal public does not see every day.
Captain Erin Dunahay stepped away from her desk at Jackson Correctional to talk to lawmakers in Eau Claire. She says we lose 2 prison employees a year in Wisconsin to suicide, but trainings have helped her team recognize risk and deal with the stigma.
Basically giving people hope, and obviously hope is, you know, what helps sustain life.
When you lose hope, you lose any kind of resilience or ability to go through difficulties.
It's probably daily that you hear of a person, you know, struggling.
While those sessions are mandatory for some state employees, people like Mike Olmstead are voluntarily learning QPR.
I work a lot with veterans.
A veteran himself, Olmstead knows how jolting it can be to come back to civilian life.
There's a lot of things that you take for granted, and those pressures could build up.
The largest single group of people we lose in Wisconsin is adult, working age men who are white.
Former police officer Jean Papillia responded to suicidal subjects and saw colleagues struggle with trauma. She now goes around the Madison area offering free QPR trainings, standing for question, persuade, and refer. Like CPR, it teaches people to be proactive when someone's in danger.
We do not ask for people to be experts. We ask them to care and take a role.
While Olmsted is focused on the hundreds of thousands of servicemen and women living here in Wisconsin, he knows he's prepared to help anyone, anywhere, if they need it.
More people need to know how to be aware of the signs.
And you will listen because no one else will.
Papillia and the group Safe Communities put on these QPR trainings free of cost on a pretty regular basis. They only take a couple hours. We'll have the details up on channel3000.com. And as always, we cannot say this enough. There is help and hope for anyone thinking about suicide. So please, please reach out if you do need it.
That's the most important information of all.
Yep, and hopefully we can all be helpful out there.
Yeah, Danica, thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Danica. Let's get a look at your first alert weather now. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Well, we've been watching showers and thunderstorms to our south. The threat has been there for the potential for some heavy rain or even severe weather. But so far, just some light rain showers have been making it through mainly the central and southern parts of our viewing area. A few light scattered showers farther to the north, up as far as north as the Dells. North and east of Madison, the rain still has a little ways to go before it gets going. But we haven't seen much in the way of thunderstorm activity down to the south. That's where we're expecting some strong to severe thunderstorms to develop later on tonight. In fact, the severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center even has a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms south of Janesville, but a slight to enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms down across parts of northern and central Illinois for the possibility for some strong damaging winds as well as an isolated tornado. We're going to be on the cool side of this weather system, so the severe weather threat is pretty limited here. Tomorrow, there may also be a threat of an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm in the afternoon and early evening. As the atmosphere starts to warm up a little bit, we could see some isolated pockets of instability that could lead to some gusty winds and hail in the stronger thunderstorms. Rainfall amounts expected to be heavier down to the south, maybe an inch to an inch and a half of rain now across northern Illinois, lesser amounts across southern Wisconsin, and then storms tomorrow and Wednesday could bring some heavy amounts of rain in the northern part of the state. Hopefully that will keep the threat for heavier rain away, at least from southern Wisconsin for the time being. Live view from the Platteville-Quebe radio Skycam, pretty cloudy, pretty rainy right there. But the WISC Skycam looking off toward the west shows cloudy skies. We had a little bit of light rain here. It stopped last time I was in the backyard. And right now the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing mostly cloudy skies. We've had a few rain showers in and around the downtown area. High temperature today so far 76 degrees, the low at 61, and right now we're at 74 degrees with a light rain shower at the airport. Winds are out of the south at 6 miles per hour. Dew point temperature pretty high at 69. If you've been outside, you know it feels pretty humid out there. Temperatures right now are warmer in the northern part of the state than they are here in the southern part of the state thanks to cloud cover. An easterly breeze off of Lake Superior keeping Superior at 65 degrees. But for the most part, the warm weather is not in our part of the Midwest. It's farther to the south. But the humidity levels are high. The dew point temperatures are still in the upper 60s to lower 70s. So because we're so close to the air temperature, probably see some areas of fog form overnight as we start to cool off a little bit. Here are those rain showers that have moved through our part of the country. A big dome of heat is located just to the south of us, and a couple of cold fronts to our west. One here in the stationary front will eventually start working north or southward as a cold front. But south of those front, temperatures are in the mid-90s to near triple-digit heat over parts of Kansas. That will stay away from us. Overnight, low of 64, mild, some areas of fog, maybe a shower or thunderstorm chance. And then for tomorrow, a chance for a shower or thunderstorm, high temperature about the same as today at 78 degrees. Future track, the best chances for rain down toward the Illinois state line tonight. Otherwise, cloudy skies overnight. Maybe a few breaks in the clouds tomorrow. That could allow a shower or thunderstorm to pop up. Tomorrow evening, those should die down, and then we'll see them pop up again on Wednesday. More clouds, though, will keep temperatures down closer to the 70-degree mark. Rainfall amounts about 1/4 of an inch, but some areas could pick up heavier amounts in a heavier shower or thunderstorm. After that, though, temperatures will warm up as we head into next weekend. Highs mid-80s for Saturday, and much of next week should see temperatures in the low to mid-80s. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, the roads are wet. That's the view from the Beltline at Broadway heading toward the interstate. And you can see traffic moving pretty slowly in the eastbound and westbound directions. Right now, there were some delays southbound on I-3990 approaching the Beltline interchange. Those have since started to abate, but also seeing some slowdowns on US 12 heading northbound out of Middleton. Right now, almost a half-hour drive on the eastbound Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, about 20 minutes going back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, it's 28 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990 from the Beltline, 17 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 23 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your News 3 Now for Slur Traffic.
Thank you, Gary.
Ahead at 5, the Justice Department is investigating how financier Jeffrey Epstein died of an apparent suicide while in federal custody over the weekend. That's next. The apparent suicide of Jeffrey Epstein in his Manhattan jail cell over the weekend will not stop the investigation into sex trafficking charges he faced. The Justice Department is also investigating how the 66-year-old disgraced financier died less than 3 weeks after surviving a previous apparent suicide attempt. According to the New York Times, guards at the jail were supposed to check on him every 30 minutes, but that procedure was not followed the night before his death.
We are now learning of serious irregularities at this facility that are deeply concerning and demand a thorough investigation.
Epstein's death follows the unsealing of over 2,000 pages of documents, many containing graphic allegations against Epstein and allegations that his close friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, found teenage girls for Epstein and his friends. Maxwell denies those allegations. Stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment.
On tonight's CBS Evening News, new details on Jeffrey Epstein's final moments in that prison cell. And will his alleged victims get justice? America's drinking water crisis. Filters failed to keep lead out of the tap water in a major U.S. city. What officials are doing now. And meet the teenager who's skipping school to call on world leaders to take action to save our planet. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And a rainy evening for some of us.
Yeah, some showers already, especially south and west of Madison, but nothing heavy and not even any thunderstorms in there right now. Current temperatures are in the low to mid 70s. Where it's not raining, temperatures are a little bit warmer, but those dew point temperatures are in the upper 60s and low 70s, so it feels pretty humid. Now, cloud cover will keep temperatures down in the 70s next couple of days. We'll warm up for the weekend and then stay pretty warm for much of next week.
All right, Gary, thanks. We'll be back with more headlines in 30 minutes. For News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell.